Good afternoon, everybody. We kind of took a little bit of a relaxed approach here, so if you're one of those people like me that want to start right on time, I didn't, and that was on purpose. We had some great conversations going, some fellowships, so I just kind of let that kind of go. If I could, I'd introduce myself. My name is Jared Hart. I'm the athletic director here at Metamora Township High School. On behalf of the administration and the Board of Education, I'd like to welcome you to our 2019 Hall of Fame Open House. This is our opportunity here from the inductees, and we'll kind of pick up with that time of fellowship out in the hallway. We'll have some drink and some cookies for you guys to kind of wrap things up. Before I go any further, I'm going to kind of go off script a little bit. This weekend certainly was quite an adventure for just about every aspect of what we did this weekend, whether it was our dance, whether it was our football game, whether it was communication with you folks. And I'm very thankful for the patience and understanding that you guys showed. People were traveling from just a couple blocks down, entire different regions of the country. I know Jackie, my administrative assistant, might have been in contact with you twice on Friday. And I'm just so thankful for your patience and your graciousness through that. I know that was less than ideal as you're trying to manage all the things that you're doing. That was, what we went through this weekend was not our ideal and dream or what we wanted at all, but I'm appreciative of how you guys were flexible with that, and I appreciate that. I just want to make sure that was kind of publicly announced that you guys made adjustments in your schedules and what you were doing, and I'm thankful for that, so we appreciate that. In that same line, as we kind of work through our program this afternoon, I want to talk about a few individuals that are important to me. It's just not myself. This is a school-wide thing where we put this together to honor our inductees. And so I want to name a couple of those people and individuals and groups. I'd like to thank our Hall of Fame committee, Kelly Willard, Rhonda Danner, Kim McCoy, Angie Kimbrough, the technology staff, Rego Replay, and our outdoor and our indoor maintenance crews. They're responsible for just the numerous plaques and posters, program information, and numerous other aspects that are kind of in the background, a lot of details that aren't always visible. So if you would take a moment to thank them with a round of applause. When we developed the program to recognize the class's accomplishments and through individual conversations with the inductees, an important theme about family developed for any coach or athlete to be successful. With those long hours associated with athletics, there are many times when family is shortchanged. We know that. And so I would just ask, a lot of the family members are here, and grandparents, parents, children, if you guys would just stand and maybe just give a wave for those that aren't family, just go ahead and stand up and be acknowledged. Thank you for all you've done through the years as coaches, athletes. So we're going to work through our inductees in that order. So just to give them some preparation on what's going to happen, in the order that you guys were inducted on Saturday afternoon. And so I'm going to show a video for Jack Hoffman. Jack, his kiddos were leaving this afternoon, and he was also just a little bit worried about the long weekend and his ability to kind of be out one more day. We've got a video that we show at home football games as part of our kind of introduction to bringing the team out on the field that we're going to show. And talked with Angela and Angela Rego and Taylor Koehrsen by email, and they just could not travel this weekend, so they're not going to be with us today. So we'll start with the video for Jack, and then we're going to actually give Caleb his plaque since he wasn't able to be with us on Saturday. So Caleb will be our first speaker after Jack, okay?
My name is Jack Hoffman. When I look at this beautiful football complex and the success of Metamora football teams over the years, I'm amazed at how far Metamora football has come since my meeting with Sherwood Dees on the first day of school in 1945. That was Mr. Dees' first year as superintendent, and in that meeting, I told him I wanted Metamora to field a football team in 1946, and that I wanted to play quarterback. Mr. Dees did not hesitate, and he said he would coach the team. His only question was, can we come up with enough players? And I said I would check around, and in only a few days I got back with him and I told him I had enough players for a team. He said he would have to go to the school board for approval, and the board approved football for the 1946 season. That was 73 years ago. This is the historical beginning of football at MTHS. I know our coaches will have our players properly prepared for the game tonight. Once a Redbird, always a Redbird.
So Friday night would have been the perfect anniversary. Jack brought with him on Saturday a copy of the first program from 1946. It was September 27th exactly to the day. So it would have been a lot of fun to play Friday night, to have that fall on the exact anniversary and have all that. If you guys wanted to come up, again, it's a copy, so don't feel like you're going to destroy it or anything, but it's certainly an interesting thing to look at of what that was. So, Jack's contribution and things have been great. So that will be up here, as well as we'll have some programs from Friday night, and then we have the Hall of Fame program. So if you missed the booklet on Saturday in the chaos or something, and you weren't able to be here at the game on Saturday, we just have extras for you. So when we get to that time. At this time, let's have Caleb come forward. We're going to give him his clap. And if somebody wanted to come get a photo, we would do that right now as well. Okay, that'd be great. As you guys have heard, Caleb was taking care of family, and so he was at Chance's wedding.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I had to speak last night at my brother's wedding, and this should be a piece of cake, right? Seems to be. There's a lot of thank yous to go around. I'm going to keep it categorized appropriately. I want to thank my family. It's an honor to get this record, entry into the Hall of Fame, and I couldn't have got there without my family. My dad always pushed me to do the best I could in all things I did, never quit. My mom, the rock of our family, just keeping us all together, always there for support. And then my little brother, Chance, always in the backyard till it got dark, catching footballs for me. There's a lot of support there in the home base. The other thank you is to our coaches, specifically Coach Kurt, Coach Zielinski, and Coach Herman. Gave me a lot of learning lessons for my future endeavors after high school. Patience, resilience, all those sort of things, extra conditioning for winning a game with Kurt, and then always look forward to the pregame speeches from Coach Peck, because they're pretty awesome. They get you fired up. But from the coaching base, I appreciate everything you guys did for us. And then the community here at Metamora. There's no other place I want to call home besides here. We moved around a lot when I was younger, but we set foot in Metamora and never left. So I'm happy to call this place home, and supporting the cast that we have with the community and everybody rallies behind Metamora's sports and everything else. But finally, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for allowing me to be a part of this. And thank you.
So it's a little bit interesting for me. We play kind of just a pickup basketball kind of on Monday nights, and so Caleb shows up every once in a while. And I don't think people understand, I think they know Caleb as a quarterback, but Caleb can still play basketball pretty well. And I remember seeing some highlights of him run the conference track meet as well. So I think Caleb did such a great job of kind of embodying all three of those sports at a pretty high level. All right, our next speaker is going to be Brad Herman.
like Caleb, I moved around a lot, and my first love was actually soccer, believe it or not. And I moved to Metamora. That was a problem, because I looked for a soccer program and they didn't have one. Someone was like, "You're big, you should try out for the football team." So I did, and the rest is kind of history from there. So again, it's because you move around, I don't have a lot of places to call home. Right, I was born in Peoria, but moved to Colorado, moved to South Carolina, right? So when you came to Metamora, the community's so tight-knit, everybody's so close, everybody's so supportive. It's truly a unique place, right? And so whenever they say where you're from, I don't say Peoria, Illinois, I always say Metamora, Illinois. So, and that's got to do with the people. And so, again, the high school journey was quite unique in itself. And it was a lot of fun. All the coaches, freshmen, all the way up to varsity. And it got really fun when Delinsky got in Coach Ryan's ear telling him that, "Hey, Caleb should throw deep bread. Good things can happen." And we took off. The offense took off, and we set a few records too. But again, like I said, it was a team aspect, right? It's one thing I respect about coaches. I mean, you need, from high school to college to the pros. I don't think it's coincidental that each one of those programs has preached team over individual. And I think that's really important in success. It's no individual introductions, no arm bands, nothing fancy out here in Metamora. Same thing in Iowa, and same thing in New England. Do your job, right? The same thing here. So again, just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks that I get to call this place home. It's been fun. Thanks.
Next is going to be Coach Tom Guenther. He brought his defensive playbook with him.
Now, this might not be as short as bear with me. Just to comment on what Brad said about team aspects of things, and you always hear there's no I in team. Just happened to hear some of Michael Jordan's acceptance speech in the Hall of Fame. And he's coming off the court once, he said, in Tex Winter. The assistant coach of the Bulls grabbed him and said, "Michael, there's no I in team." And Michael's response was, "But there isn't win." So sometimes you have to rely on some talent to pull out a victory. I would like to thank the committee for selecting me into the Metamora Hall of Fame, and especially those committee members that are here today. Congratulations to all the other selected people this year. It's all very well deserved, all the people that were part of this class. The most important person I have to thank, though, is my amazing wife, Renee. She's been my life support system for 47 years of marriage. And she gave up a very successful volleyball program at Mendota High School in order for us to move to Metamora. Somehow we worked it out in the fall to raise a family with both of us coaching a fall sport. It was very hectic at times. We also had to plan like an itinerary for, I got 2 hours to mow the grass and maybe go to the bank. But I still think we might be the only married couple in Illinois to both coach teams in the state championship game. I have no way of verifying that. It's just my hunch. And she also helped me to do a lot of my scouting throughout the years. I tell her, "Watch this film. Tell me what this guy did. Okay, I'm going to watch him. You watch him. Give me the pattern." So she has been there all the time. Love you. My coaching and teaching for 30 plus years was always one of taking advantages of opportunities. I was presented along the way. I'd like to take some time to thank all those people and recount some of those steps in the journey. Some of those people are here, some are not. But I'm going to thank him anyway. My first teaching job was at Mendota High School in Mendota, Illinois. While at Mendota, I started football coaching at the very bottom of the ladder. I was at the freshman level and coached the freshman B team. And that B team was basically you played for about a quarter running clock after the A game got done. And as the coach, I stood behind, on the field, stood behind the offensive huddle and called the plays. So I was like actually in the huddle. And sometimes I just make up a play that we had never run before. But it was a lot of fun. And at Mendota at the time, the head coach there was a gentleman named Paul Kimmery. And he was the first head coach I ever worked with. I was their chief scout. So I'd come in on Saturday mornings and give my scouting report to them on next week's opponent. And Paul Kimmery is also a member of the Illinois Football Coaches Hall of Fame. So that's the first Hall of Famer I got an opportunity to work with. After my first year at Mendota, I was out of a job. I had replaced the lady who went on leave of absence, but she came back. So I was fortunate to get a job at the school that was only 12 miles away, Earlville High School, the Red Raiders. 130 students total, and it's still 130 students. I was coaching football and basketball at that school. And at Earlville, for some reason, there was a pretty high turnover rate of coaches. People came and went. And the second year I was on the football staff, I had the opportunity to work with Rich Kaler. He had just done his student teaching here at Metamora High School, and he had worked with head coach John Helmick. And he was my assistant in basketball. I had taken the varsity basketball job. So I was his assistant in football, and he was my assistant in basketball. And I gave him a heck of a in-game scout to do each basketball game. That was so complicated. He had different colored pens, but he ate that stuff up. He's a stickler for it. He loves to do that kind of stuff. And in football, it's still a small school. We only had about 18 players from freshman to senior. So we couldn't even do much contact, or we were afraid we'd get somebody hurt, and then who were we going to play? Somebody from the 8th grade, maybe. And so we just couldn't prepare real well for week to week with the competition we were playing. Rich likes to say he ended the football program at Rego, but after he was there for 1 year, he left to go back here to Metamora. And there was one more head coach after Rich. But with that 1 year with Rich, my wife and I, Renee, became lifelong friends with Rich and his wife, Marcy. And to this day, we're still friends. When he heard about some of the honors I was getting, he sent me a nice letter of congratulations. But then he also included some clippings from the Ottawa newspaper about some of our games at Earlville. And you can see here, Hampshire beats Earlville 56-7. Earlville falls to impressive Burlington Central 61-12. I told him it was just, I was experimenting at the time. Trying to find it, and as someone once said, experimenting is just the name we give to our failures. But, here's what I had to put up. Here's a little quote from that article about we lost to Hampshire 56-7. Earlville lost the ball 4 times on fumbles, and Hampshire turned them all into scores. And they blocked the punt. And this is the kicker, showing you how small a school this was. We had to play without our starting quarterback. He was injured. So that week we took the center, and he was our quarterback. With that kind of offense, how could we not hold them to just 56? After they dropped football, I got another opportunity to still go back to Mendota and coach football again. I wasn't coaching anything in the fall at Earlville. So I was astonished when the new head coach of a gentleman named Dean Loves, who also is now in the Illinois Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame, made me varsity offensive line coach and assistant defensive coach. And, I was just at Earlville, and Mendota was kind of like, 10 times as big as Earlville at the time. So it was a great learning opportunity again for me to learn under Dean and the fine staff we had at Mendota. Okay, a little bit back to the Kaler story. 1984, I got a call from Rich, and he said, "Hey, we've got an opening here at Metamora. Would you like to come here and teach and coach?" And after talking it over with Renee, after about 5 minutes, we decided that might be a good move. So we did make the move, and it was a life-changing opportunity, I'll tell you that. Our lives just would not be the same without spending the next 20-some years here at Metamora. And to show you what a great guy Rich is, I was going to coach 3 sports that first season: football, basketball, and baseball. And I had coached baseball before, and basketball and football, and Rich knew I wasn't really pleased with 3 sports in a row. Nobody would be, really. And so he volunteered. He said, "I will take the freshman baseball job, and I will free you up in the spring." And I really, really did appreciate that. I don't know how head coach Bob Schlemmer felt about it, but you can ask Bob the next time you see him. Under Rich, I was still coaching offensive line. I was the linebacker coach and the defensive coordinator. And I was just amazed at the level of how organized Rich Kaler was, and how his preparation was so in-depth for every game. And I think that's something that I took with me the rest of my career. The football team in 1984 will always be very fondly remembered by me. It's my first year here, and I think they had finished pretty near the bottom of the Middle Illini in 1983, and in 1984 we won the conference. And the offensive line, many of those people that I had that year will always remember, we hit that 7-man sled every day. They pushed that thing all over the field. Because my philosophy was, hey, the offensive line has to block. You've got to practice blocking. But also in that, another thank you here, in that first few weeks of school, I met with Randy Tuckey. Randy had just become head basketball coach here. And he talked to me about coaching basketball, which I already knew I was going to do. That was part of the assignment. And I had told Randy, I was honest, I told him my last 3 years as varsity basketball coach had some problems. We weren't very good. And there was a little bit of turmoil between me and the administration. But anyway, I was astonished when Randy said at the end of our meeting, "Oh, yeah, you're going to be the head sophomore coach and assistant varsity." Wow. But those 10 years I coached with Randy in football were just fantastic. Long hours, long seasons in basketball. It seems like it goes on forever, but very enjoyable. And again, I would like to, I don't know if any of them here, but that first group of sophomores that I had, I'd like to thank all of them, because my confidence as a basketball coach is maybe a little down after the last couple of years with the Red Raiders. But those guys, as freshmen, they only won like 4 or 5 games. And they were still a lot more talented sophomores than I had at Earlville for the last 3 years. But they weren't very tall, probably about 6'3". Maybe Kurt Christensen was maybe 6'3" at the most. Mike Brockhouse was like 6'2", maybe. And we set a goal at the beginning of the season. We're going to finish 500. They didn't shoot very well from the outside. I mean, if we scored 40% on our field goals at the end of the game, that was tremendous. It was like, wow, we were hitting them tonight. But so we tried to have a strategy where we shot mostly layups and free throws. They were pretty good at free throws. You know, with nobody guarding them, they could hit shots better. They did finish 500, I think, right on the nose that year. And we won an early season tournament, the prestigious IVC, I think it was like Thanksgiving tournament. We played in the championship game over there against the Chicago Public League School, Chicago Collins. They front line went like 6'6" and a half, 6'6", 6'5". So, you know, everybody was taller and they didn't look like us. For some reason. But we took care of the ball. We didn't allow fast breaks against us. And we made a lot of shots, free throws and layups. And we astonished everybody by beating them and took home the big trophy. I don't know if it's still out there on display. Probably centered some spotlight. But it did really help restore my faith in coaching basketball. So those guys were tremendous. My last 3 years of coaching basketball with Randy were also memorable. Due to Randy's influence, he pulled some strings, and I didn't have to coach sophomore basketball anymore. I was just assistant varsity basketball when there really wasn't a separate position for that. But I was still getting paid a little bit for that. And Randy turned the whole defense over to me. I coached the defense in practice, devised the defensive game plan, coached the defense during the games. I think I only remember one time during a game where Randy had called a timeout and said, we're going to change the way we're defending this play. And that's, you know, after 10 years, you only have one time overruled by the head coach. I think it's pretty good. My last game as varsity assistant, I got to be a head basketball coach again. During the course of that game, Randy had gotten a very unjustified second technical. Like 5 seconds after his first technical. The official didn't even let him have time to cool down. All of a sudden, it was, you're out of here with 2 technicals. And the game wasn't going well. Maybe Randy just wanted to, get out. But we did end up losing the game. But I think the L goes on Randy's record. I got too many losses as a head varsity basketball coach. And again, thanks to Randy for a great 10 years of coaching basketball here. I'd also like to thank, and I don't think he's here, Chuck Leonard. Chuck was the head of the social studies department when I was here. And Chuck came to me after my first year at Metamora. I had taught physical education my first year. I'd never taught PE before. I'd always been in the classroom. And Chuck said, hey, we got an opening in the classroom next year. I'd like you to fill that position. And I thought about that for like 5 minutes and said, yeah, I love teaching social studies classes. So even though it was a heck of a lot more work and time consuming, I enjoyed all the time in my classroom. I always try to give 100% to both coaching and to the classroom. But I'll tell you what, I also like to thank the news program, Channel 1. I don't know if they still have it here, but when they picked that up, and it was like a 12-minute news program every day, tailor-made for students, and it just gave me another prep period, but it's still beneficial to the students. One more thank you here. I'd like to thank John Guenther. He was head coach of Washington Panthers for a long time. We butted heads, and he became my white whale. He influenced my development as a defensive coach. He was more unpredictable as an offensive play caller than anybody I've ever run up against. After many years of trying to defend individual plays and trying to outguess John, not very successfully, I decided to change my philosophy. Instead of trying to defend that way, I would defend his formations. I would try to counter his formation with a defensive formation that would put our 11 people in a good position to defend anything he could run out of that formation. And it not only worked well against Washington, I was smart enough to think, hey, if it works pretty good against them, it might work pretty good against everybody. So we started to adopt that philosophy with everybody we played. And because of our great coaching staff we had, and they were so good at teaching the proper skills, the defense was able to execute pretty well every week. In 1990, another opportunity. Along comes Pat Ryan. He was named head coach at Metamora to replace Rich, who decided to go back to the glory days in the South Peruga area, where he had been a star at the St. Bede Academy. But I remember telling Pat after he became head coach, I said, no, Pat, I think it was at a state basketball tournament, I said, Pat, you know, I've been coaching 15 years, and I don't know, I just don't know how much longer I want to stay in. I'll guarantee you 2 years, and then we'll have to reevaluate. Well, that 2 years turned into 16 more. So I think part of the reason that turned into 18 total years was Pat was so great to work with. There was nothing in that 16 years to dislike. I continued as an offensive line coach for a long time, and also with the linebackers and the defensive coordinator. Pat eventually decided, after kind of our one trip to Kansas State, where the defensive coach there was amazed that I was still defensive coordinator and offensive line coach. Pat decided to replace me as offensive line. I still like coaching the offense, so I get you involved in the offense some, but it was really beneficial. I could spend a lot more time devoted just to defense. And it was just a wonderful time to coach football at Metamora. We had some great defensive coaches, top notch. I'm just going to say thanks, even though some may be here, but some not. Bob Schlemmer, Shalot Bob, Pete List, Jim Cassett, and Derek Linden. And I also borrowed Coach Lewinsky's arm quite a bit to throw fades, and I think Jared Grubner's arm too against our cornerbacks. They got our defensive individuals really well prepared. Pat and I had a relationship, a coaching relationship second to none. I can't remember one time we argued about anything. Not once. I think Renee and I might have argued a few more times than that. I just can't recall anything. He's the greatest motivator I ever worked with. Sometimes after one of his pre-game speeches, as Cale mentioned, I was ready to suit up. He's a tremendous role model for all players and coaches. And I got to just tell him a huge thank you. I'll always remember those police escorts, riding fire trucks, and Fred Bird in full costume motorcycling down Interstate 74. I was in a football field or in the gym and coached a lot of great athletes here. Several of them are already in the Metamora Hall of Fame. Kenny Robinson played defensive line. Scott Carden, linebacker. Dan Hargis, linebacker. Andy Reid, linebacker. Arizona stuck in there as a basketball player. And now Brad Herman, I always think was a much better linebacker than he was tight end. And Caleb TerBush, punter. See, I did coach him. And, you know, punt practice can be kind of tedious at times. And so we practiced maybe 2 minutes on the actual punt, and then I'd get into my fake punts. And by the while, we had like 9 different fake punts. So I wouldn't practice those every week, but, you know, maybe 2 or 3 a week. I'd always say, hey, we'll throw one of those in maybe and waste the other team have to waste practice time watching that. For all of us who turned out today, it's an honor to have coached and taught here at Metamora High School. I would like to close with a quote from one of my favorite people in history, Abraham Lincoln. I'm a success today because I had friends who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let them down. Thanks to all those friends indeed.
this is what you call a tough position in the program, to follow that. And I must say, I am humbled standing here amongst the great athletes and the coaches that were recognized and all of their accomplishments, their past accomplishments and legacies that are going to live on forever. And my legacy is I sold 50-50 tickets. So, you know, I stand here, when I got the call from Jared, frankly, I was a little shocked. But at the same time, I am truly honored that you guys have looked to pick me to go into the Metamora Hall of Fame. I'm a Carrollton Hawk, actually. And a little side bit that probably nobody in this room knew. Pat Ryan interviewed for a football coach in Carrollton, Illinois before Metamora. He got beat out by a teammate of mine my senior year, Greg Pullman, beat him out for that job. So thanks to that, Pat Ryan is here in Metamora, folks. You know, Beck and I, we were in the high school, we had a student here in Metamora High School for 14 straight years. And I guess one of my other claim to fame was I was a cheerleading dad for 12 consecutive years. I heard the Mid-Atlantic Night cheer approximately 1 million times. So I had to pay some dues for it. But I did enjoy every minute of, Beck and I, like most parents, we got involved on the very first night, emphasis night, back in 1994. And my first memory of working with the Booster Club was cooking pork chops with Roger Alec in a makeshift tent on a rainy playoff game. And it was wet, it was rainy, it was cold, and we were cooking pork chops. Our world changed though on September 15, 1995, when John suffered a traumatic brain injury from a tackling drill during practice. He spent 31 days in the hospital, and his athletic career at that point was over. We were pretty devastated at that point, even after 24 years. Then we never get to see that kid play football or wrestle on that mat. So I need to have something to grab onto personally to get through it. That was the Booster Club. Gave me something to fill the void. So it didn't take too long to figure out that I had a big mouth. And I could sell 50-50. So they moved me over there. And I did that until I retired from the Booster Club many years later. And I'm remiss if I wouldn't recognize some of those people through the years that helped us with some of those memorable pots. I mean, it was pretty amazing when they would start publishing the 50-50, the box scores. If you guys remember that. Ron and Carol Woods are great friends to this day. The Paulies, Ken and Robin. Randy Perot and Dale Meredith, who are two of the loudest people on the face of the earth. Ken Matson for all his help through the years. Later on it was Jeff Burnett and Chris Metler and many others. I remember helping the year when we built the baseball and softball complexes with all volunteer help folks. That was an amazing project. And we were deep into that, even into the winter. I remember coming up here helping Randy Perot cover concrete. It was cold and we were wrapped up trying to stay warm. Served with Dave Panare as the co-vice president for several years. We also, for some of you may remember the Golf and Graze, that little, where we eat on every hole, or maybe drink a beer on every hole too, which I know we did. It was a great event for when we had it. I do want to share with you though, I hope that the people in this community appreciate what you have here in Metamora. You have something very special. We moved here in 1988 for my job with Country Financial, and to us, it is home now. This community welcomed us with open arms, and when John got hurt, the outpouring of love and support from the people was unbelievable. Beck and I were truly humbled by your support. I do want to pay some special thanks to some people besides my lovely wife and obviously the family and that gave us all these 14 years plus here as parents. Special thanks to Coach Pat Ryan, who included John in the remainder of his high school career as a student coach that nearly made him feel part of the team. And I appreciate that. Kurt Ryan, Joe Blessman, and all the coaches that come around. Joe Blessman come to the hospital almost every single day for those 31 days. Coach Schroeder, Steve Schroeder, included John as a student coach in wrestling. And him and John are still close to this day as he is with Pat. I also want to thank Ken and Sue Maurer for the support through all the years. We still consider them really good friends. Randy and Sandy Petke, they were there at that hospital managing, because we had dozens upon dozens of kids for those 31 days. And Randy and Sandy were there helping us all along the way, helping us manage the kids as they came in. We want to thank them for their friendship. High school athletics helps the building of young men and women into tomorrow's leaders. They develop great character, instilling discipline and self-motivation that they're going to need in order to succeed in today's world. There's not a day that went by in my 41-year professional career that I didn't use the life lessons that I got from participating in high school athletics. Teamwork, leadership, interpersonal skills were all those life skills that are taught by the coaches here at Metamora High School. This community should be very proud of the young men and women who graced the halls of this great institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And with that, we kind of conclude today's program. I want to say congratulations to all the inductees and their families. And that kind of concludes our formal part. You are welcome to stay around. The building's open. Please talk and enjoy each other's company. We do have some drinks and some cookies out in the foyer area. Congratulations, and we wish you the best as you're still not done. So thank you.